Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma. So we're going to be going through some Game Week 4 transfer tips. So it's going to consist of two players to sell, two players to buy, two players to avoid, and two players to keep as well in this video. So before we get into it, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. We're still aiming for 800 subscribers. Make sure you leave a like and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any content going up on the channel. Not wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. For the first player I'm going to be going for is Ollie Watkins. So the reason I've gone for selling of Ollie Watkins, not had the best start of the season with no attacking returns in the first three games. There is no GA or no, just no GA in the first three games. So I think personally for me, if I owned Watkins, I'd sell and go for other alternative we are going to discuss in this video. But for now, Watkins is a sell, although he does have good fixtures in game week 5 and in game week 7. So maybe those are the few game weeks I'd want to hold him for. But I think at 8.9 million, I think it's just a sell and go for a cheaper alternative. That's the first player I'd sell. Now let's look at the second player. So for the second player I've gone for is Nico Williams. And before people say, oh, it's because Nuno has left the team, I had made this video a long time ago, but I had not yet recorded the audio. So I already had Nico Williams as one of my players to sell. And just the Nuno news going and Ange coming to the team, I think now it's a definite sell because we all know how Ange played at Spurs and how terrible it was defensively for Spurs. So that's why I'd sell. And Forest, even under Nuno in the first three games, they've been so poor, haven't kept a clean sheet in the first three games. So I think for Nico Williams, I think it's a must sell and go for another cheaper alternative defender. We're still also going to discuss in this video. So that's the second player I'd sell. Now let's look at the players I'd avoid. So the players I'd avoid are the first player is Alexander Isak. Of course, just moved to Liverpool. The reason I'd avoid him is because he's not guaranteed he will play in game week 4, or maybe he'll get around 20 minutes or something like that. Of course, it's Isaac. He can score in those 20 minutes since they're going to be playing Burnley, but I wouldn't be so certain. He didn't play one of the fixtures for Sweden, but he played the second one for like 20 minutes. But there's already pictures of him in training with the Liverpool squad, so we don't know how fit he's going to be. How he's going to be ready to play a full 90 minutes or a full 45 minutes. So we'll have to wait and see. But personally, I will stay away from Isaac until we assess the Liverpool situation. If they're going to change formation, if they're going to change, they're going to rotate between Isaac and Ekitike. So that's something I'd wait to see before I jump onto Ekitike and or Isaac. So that's why I'd avoid him. Just maybe just go for Salah and Gakpo. But I'm not so sure if Gakpo is going to be nailed on. So I only think Salah is the only one who's going to be nailed on. So I think I'd avoid Isaac and yeah. So let's look at the second player I'd avoid as well. So the next player I'd avoid is Bruno Fernandes. Of course, he did score as it 13 points or 10 points in game week 3. I'd say he was very, very, very lucky to score those points because he got a last minute penalty, and of course he's on penalty. But he was someone who was thinking about transferring in Bruno. I'd advise to avoid because Manchester United are very, very poor and they're going into a very, very tough run of fixtures. I think they play Man City next, then Chelsea, then Brentford, then they have I think Liverpool somewhere there, and then Brighton. Very poor run of fixtures. Man City have been very poor. Especially Bruno, who has been very poor as well. So I'd avoid circumstances because I think United have a very poor run of fixtures. Bruno has been very poor as well. So I'd avoid. So that's the second player I'd avoid. Now let's look at some of the players I'd keep. So some of the players I'd keep before game week 4 or for game week 4, we have Florian Wirtz. Of course, not ever had a good start to the season as well, the same as the like of Watkins or Nico Williams. But the only reason I'd keep Florian Wirtz is because of that Burnley fixture they have in game week 4. And with the introduction of now Ekitike, maybe a little bit of Isaac, is going to be able to get some assists here and there, and against a low block, this is going to be the key to unlocking that low block, helping me to get some assist in there. That's why I've gone for him. Of course, he was very unlucky in game week 3. Should have had a goal or an assist, but it was just marginally offside. So yeah, very fine margins, of course, in FPL. But I'd just keep him for that Burnley fixture. But if he fails, if he blanks in that Burnley fixture, I think it will be time to have some conversations about Florian Wirtz in our FPL team. So that's the first player I'd keep. Let's look at the second player as well. So the second player I'd keep is Chris Wood. And of course, they do play Arsenal in game week 4. But for game week 5 and 6, I think they're going to be playing West Ham and Sunderland. And that's the fixtures I'd keep him. And of course, the new manager, there might be a new manager bounce. We'll never know. And what a better game to do a manager bounce against Sunderland and West Ham. Of course, Chris Wood is a batsman by nature. So that's why I'd want him in there. And that's why if you want to sell him, I advise to keep just for those game week 5 and game week 6 because I'm sure he's going to perform very, very well in those fixtures. So the second player I'd keep. Now let's look at the players I would advise people to buy. So if you're looking for players to buy, these are the two players I advise to buy. The first player is Mateta. Not had the good start to the season, but I think that is down to them playing in the Community Shield and also playing in the Conference League qualifiers. So maybe a little bit of fatigue, but now they've had some rest. I'm not so sure Mateta. I don't think he was called up for France. I might be wrong on that, but I'm not so sure. When he was called up, I don't think he played. Yeah, so I'm sure he's going to be having a rest on these 2 weeks. He's had a rest and he's going to be playing again in game week 4. They do place, I think, Burnley and Sunderland in game week 4 and 5. That's why I'd buy him just to target those fixtures for game week 4 and 5. And maybe after that, sell him on because the fixtures now are going to be turning after this game week 4 and game week 5. But this is a player I advise people to buy. This is the first player. Now let's look at the second player. So the second player I advise people to buy is going to be Ricardo Calafiori. And the reason I've gone for him is because I think it's now time to get Arsenal defenders. Arsenal have shown that the best defensive team in the league, 2 clean sheets, and just they would have kept a clean sheet in game week 3 by not for a late Szoboszlai free kick goal, which is an amazing goal by the way. They have been 3 in 3. So I think he's a very decent option, also a threat in front of goal from set pieces. And as compared to like Timber on the right side, Calafiori goes up and down the pitch, and there's slight high chance of an assist. Of course, Saliba is injured, so we don't know how the dynamic of the defense is going to change. Is Calafiori going to go back to centre back and then have well, Miles Kelly as the left back, or is the new guy that Arsenal signed going to be the centre back? Calafiori is going to stay at left back. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's time to get Arsenal defenders. I think the best Arsenal defender is maybe Calafiori or Timber because they're both very good at set pieces. But for attacking returns, attacking threat, I'd go for Calafiori. So the second player I'd buy if I was looking to buy a defender. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about these players, and also let me know what you're going to be doing with some of the players you have, if any of them is on this video. And also, I post shots on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So if you want to see the 2 extra players, because for this video I've only gone for 2 players, and the shots have 2 extra players. Make sure you go check out my videos and all the socials. And with that, I'd like to thank you all guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.